Hi everyone, welcome to the Cali Culture Podcast, episode 21, featuring returning guest Jason Wilson, who is the founder and CEO of SpiritLink. He's also my podcast manager and producer. Now, Jason and I are going to have a great show because we're going to talk about a variety of different things, including the current USD Colombian Peso exchange rate, the World Cup games. We're going to talk about the upcoming Petronio Álvarez event in August and many, many more other interesting and enlightening topics. So you don't want to miss this show. Ladies and gentlemen, sit back, relax, listen, learn, and enjoy. Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Cali Culture Podcast. I'm your host, Jeremy Preston. This is the only podcast on air, ladies and gentlemen, that discusses everything and anything about Cali, Colombia. Welcome, and it's going to be a great show today. We have a returning guest, and not only is he a guest, but he is the main man behind this podcast, behind the Cali Culture Podcast. And he does a lot of work behind the scenes. He makes sure that you get the quality podcast that you see every week, every Saturday. And so I'm so happy to welcome the one and only Jason Wilson back to the show. Welcome, Jason.
Brother, thank you so much for having me back on the show, man. We always have a wonderful time on the show, and it's a pleasure to be here. Thank you so much for the invitation.
Absolutely. And it's always great to get you from backstage to up front because you always had interesting, enlightening perspective on virtually every topic. So I really enjoy us going through these topics and having this great dialogue. So thanks for taking time on your busy schedule to be back on the show. So let's get right back into it, Jason. We have a lot to talk about. There's a lot going on in the world. There's a lot going on in Colombia, a lot going on in the U.S. That we could definitely talk about. First off, we know that there is something significant that happened in Venezuela. 2 earthquakes back to back that were measured over 7 on the Richter scale. Massive earthquakes that caused a lot of damage. I think the last I heard was like 1,500 people were deceased, and there was like 15,000, I believe, people that were injured, and they're still looking for people in the rubble. It's just a sad situation. Our hearts go out to the people of Venezuela. Obviously, they remain in our prayers every day, and I just wanted to take this opportunity to acknowledge the fact that sometimes things happen that we can't explain, but God knows, and He always has a plan for everything, and He's always going to show Himself righteous and mighty, even in the worst of situations. Jason, do you have anything to add to that? What happened in Venezuela and what the people are going through?
Yeah, I saw several videos about that on Instagram, of course. And, one of the guys that I saw on one of those videos he was in tears, completely distraught, and rightfully so. Yeah. He was begging for somebody to do something about the machinery they were using to, uncover all the rubbish and wreckage around there, trying to, rescue people because, there were still people that were alive, trapped under all of that debris and everything. And so, God, I just pray that, somebody does something about that. And then when we take a look at what's been going on in Venezuela, like over the past year or so, they got rid of Chavez. And then Maduro, excuse me. Yeah, Chavez was before that, excuse me. Mm-hmm. And so Maduro, and then that happened, and then Trump goes in there, and basically changes the whole culture of the country in an instant.
In an instant, right?
And so everybody wants to, or is actually thinking about going to Venezuela, possibly relocating there, all the Venezuelans that left Venezuela went to the United States that think about returning home, reuniting with their family. But the whole situation about the poverty there still exists. I don't know what can be done about that in the short term, but I think that's a long-term problem over
Right.
there.
Yeah.
That's not going to be fixed, this year or the next. I think it may take even longer than that. But I think when it comes business wise, thinking business wise over there, I think a lot of us in the United States are, looking at it as a huge opportunity now to go into Venezuela and think about that, as well as dating and some other opportunities that may present themselves over the next year or two. But spiritually speaking, there were some pictures of what was happening during that earthquake, and I
Hmm.
mean, the entire sky was blood red,
Yeah. Hmm.
which I don't think an earthquake has anything to do with the color of the sky.
Hmm.
So spiritually speaking, that could be something of interest to talk about. I know that a blood red sky, biblically speaking, has to do with spiritual warfare.
Hmm.
And when we take a look at everything that's happened over there over the past year or so, yeah, there's been a lot of spiritual warfare over there, and um, I think that all over the world right now, people are getting closer to God,
Yeah.
rededicating their lives to God. And I think that, of course, the enemy doesn't want that
Right.
over there in Venezuela. So, that may have something to do with that.
Hmm. Yeah, and you bring up a good point in regards to the spiritual aspect of this, because if we read Revelations, what does Revelation say about stuff like this in the end times? Wars and rumors of wars, earthquakes, famines, and we see a lot of that happening. And those who
Mm,
believe in Christ, we have nothing to fear, but we just know that these things are happening. We know that the end is getting closer and closer. Um,
sure.
these circumstances don't, as you indicated, Jason. These circumstances don't just happen. These catastrophic events just don't happen. But
Mm,
they're it's all prophecy and it's all biblical at the end of the day. Um,
yeah,
but our hearts do go out to the people in Venezuela, and we definitely want to be a beacon of encouragement to tell any of the Venezuelan people that if whether they're in the United States or Colombia or in Venezuela and are listening to this podcast, we stand with you, we pray with you, and this thing shall pass. This is a catastrophic event. A lot of people lost their loved ones in an instant.
yeah,
Just it's just sad all the way around. But we do stand with you, and we will continue to keep you all in our prayers and in our thoughts. We have a comment here
absolutely.
that I want to acknowledge, Jason, in regards to this topic. If you can bring it up there. Um, let's see, Talia Ashley. Praying. The comment is praying for everyone affected directly and indirectly in Venezuela. Absolutely. Thank you for that
Yes.
comment.
Yeah, I'm going to be talking about Talia on this episode some more. She's actually our new partner at Spirit Link. And so, I'm not going to get into that now because I have some more details about some news with Spirit Link and Bonde Map, which is actually her company. We're coming together in this effort to bring some peace and into the loneliness epidemic that we're facing here, not only in the United States and here in Colombia and all over South
Mhm.
America, but everywhere. I mean, it's a global problem. And so
And
Talia is a good friend of mine. She's in Atlanta, Georgia, where I'm from, and so we're going to be talking a little bit about more about that as the program progresses.
excellent. And right now it's hot Atlanta because I'm in Augusta, Georgia right now, about 2.5 hours away, and it's 95 degrees and with the humidity
Oof.
and heat index. So,
Wow.
yeah, shout out to all my people in Atlanta that are trying to just stay cool, stay out of the sun right now for sure.
Absolutely.
So, I want to talk about the World Cup. What an amazing, energetic World Cup has been thus far, Jason. Man,
Yeah,
I think we could spend the whole episode talking about the World Cup. Uh, let's just start with Colombia, of course. Actually, you know what? Yeah, let's start with Colombia, of course. Um,
sure.
you know, Colombia is a very scrappy team. If I could describe them, that's what I would say is a scrappy team with very good defense that they
Yeah,
play from minute one to the hour mark. They play tough. They play with a lot of grit, and that's what you have to do to get to the final. And I like what
absolutely.
I'm seeing. I really do, Jason. I like what I'm seeing out of Colombia. I see every game they're starting to make some adjustments, improve in every game. And the game with
Yeah,
Ghana, it just looked like they were in control of that game the entire time. It looked like Ghana just
they
couldn't really
were.
do anything to get any kind of offense going.
No, not at
Yeah.
all. And as a matter of fact, I saw one statistic like in the second half, Colombia had 12 opportunities to score,
Yeah.
and Ghana only had maybe like 5 or 6. So, I mean, Colombia was in complete control that whole game.
Yeah.
And, defensively, man, Colombia, yeah, you said it right. Colombia had complete control defensively as well on both
Hmm.
sides of the ball.
Yeah, absolutely. And so I'll say Colombia defense is probably the best that I've seen thus far in the World Cup. I
Yeah.
think the only room for improvement, really, no, I say the only, but the main room for improvement is to be able to take advantage of those, to be able to get those scores. Because as you indicate, they had 12 chances. That it really should have been, I think, 4-0.
At
Um,
least,
at
at least,
least,
bro.
right? So I feel like it could have been a all out blowout, not just a game domination, but an all out blowout. And I think
Mm,
as the competition gets increases, they're going to have to be able to take advantage of those attempts. Those attempts have got to be goals. You know.
yeah, absolutely. But in Colombia's defense as well, man, there were several opportunities where it should have been a goal, but then the
Mm-hmm.
ref called something, man. They were
Mm-hmm.
offsides. I was like, come on, man.
Yeah.
and the commentator said the same exact thing.
Mm-hmm.
How nitpicky can you be?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, what, his toe is on the line? I mean, come on,
Mm-hmm.
man.
Exactly. Yeah,
Yeah,
that's a great point, and yeah, we saw that not in this game, in the last game, where literally that which against Portugal, it should have been a goal, and in
it
fact
should have been.
now the FIFA is actually they're starting to reevaluate that role and the equipment and machinery that they use to be able to determine if you're on the line.
Yeah,
It's unfortunate for Colombia, of course, but I think it just at the end of the day. Maybe there's too much technicality in some of the ruling. Sometimes that could be a good
right.
thing. We know, like in American football, now they have the review,
Mm,
and sometimes that helps. Sometimes it still ends up in controversy. But I will
yep.
say, Colombia needs to continue to be that scrappy team that makes it what I like to say, make it a dogfight. It doesn't have to be a
Yeah.
clean win. It has to be a dogfight where the other team is on their knees, sucking air, breathing hard, and then you're still playing. You're still in the game.
Yeah. Well, I mean, to Colombia's credit as well, they went against Portugal.
Mm-hmm.
And some of those commentators were like, no, Colombia doesn't have a chance. We don't think too positively at all for the result going Colombia's way. But look how they played. I
Exactly.
mean, they went against Cristiano, and Cristiano, man, is one of the best in the world. So yeah,
Right. That's
yeah,
right. Absolutely. And so now they're going to travel to Vancouver and play Switzerland. I think that's going to be a good game, but I think once again, I think Colombia can beat them if Colombia
yep,
continues to play as a unit with their huge fan base. I mean, you saw yesterday in Kansas City, you would have thought you were in Bogota looking at that stadium.
exactly, yeah,
Absolutely amazing to be able to see nothing but yellow throughout the stadium in Kansas City, by the way. So
you know
they
what,
have
man?
the country behind them.
Yeah. The thing about that though, man, I don't care where you at in the United States. They were showing, crowds from all over the country.
Yeah.
And I mean, it's full of Colombians, man.
Yeah. Yeah. At
Yeah.
Colombia, I would say that their fan base is unmatched. They ride or die with their team, and that's how you're supposed to be a fan. So I definitely, the country's behind them, the fan base is behind them. I think the thing is to continue. They need to continue to be that scrappy team, to be that defensive minded team, and I think they can beat Switzerland. I really do.
Yeah. 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 I think they'll go all the way, and I think they're going to win. That's
I
what I
think they're
think.
going to win too. And matter of fact, yeah. Well, let's go ahead and make that prediction and say it. I think they're going to go all the way. I'm predicting them to beat Argentina. Argentina will most likely beat Egypt, and it's going to be a showdown. It's going to be like the Copa 2024, right? It's going to be another
Yep.
showdown with Colombia and Argentina. And by the way, speaking of Argentina, how about
Uh-huh.
Cape Verde? How about them? How they played?
Oh man, that was a great game too, man.
Amazing, right?
Yeah.
Amazing
Yeah.
that this team that doesn't even they don't even really have a really a national team. This is like their
Right.
first time. And they gave Argentina a run for their money. What I saw
Yes.
yesterday is a chink in Argentina's armor. That's what I saw.
Me too. Me too. Me
Yeah.
too. So let's see what happens between Colombia and Argentina if that's the case.
And I think that's where we're headed to. I'm going to go ahead and make the prediction. I think that's where we're headed to. I think Colombia is going to defeat Switzerland. I think Argentina. Now, Egypt is no slouch, by the way,
No,
and
not at
so
all.
it could go either way on that game between Argentina and Egypt. But I do think Argentina is going to fix some things, correct some things, and I think they will be victorious. So I do believe it's going to be Colombia and Argentina once again.
That would be interesting. Yeah. Looking forward to
Absolutely,
that.
absolutely. Well, we can talk about the World Cup all day, so we'll move on to the next topic here, which
Sure.
is Jason, the exchange rate, the USD to Colombian peso exchange rate. It seems like every week the exchange rate is dropping less and less, meaning the Colombian peso is strengthening and the US dollar is weakening, which
Hmm.
obviously it's a cause for concern to a lot of tourists and even expats as well. There's a lot of digital nomads, a lot of expats that still have they're still working and they're living in Colombia. And then
Yeah.
there's some expats that have their business visa. They have a SAS, which is equivalent to an LLC in the U.S. that they're paying Colombian employees, but it is not as beneficial because of the exchange rate. So my question to you, Jason, is this exchange rate first? It's a two-sided question. First question
Okay.
is the first question is more general in that is the exchange rate something to be concerned about if you're an expat, tourist, or traveler? That's the first question. And then the second
Okay.
question is, do you believe that the exchange rate is going to continue to change that will be a positive impact to the Colombian peso? In other words, is the Colombian peso going to continue to strengthen while the US dollar weakens?
Interesting question. So let me just give you some facts because I've been here 24 years here in
Mm-hmm.
Colombia. And I've seen a lot of changes, man, with everything here in the country.
Yeah.
But regarding the peso itself, man, when I first came here in 2002, at the end of 2002, going into 2003, the Colombian peso at that time was worth 2,965,000 pesos, which in
Wow.
English is 2,965 pesos.
Wow.
So right now we're at 3,300. It shifts like between 3,300 and 3,400. Right.
Mm-hmm.
So at that time, it was 2,900, almost 3,000 then. Now, it started to increase. And then between 2004 and 2008, it had gone all the way down to 1,800.
Wow.
Yeah. Ooh. Yeah.
That hurts my ears right there, Jason.
I mean, can you imagine? We at 3,300 now, and it goes all the way down to 1,800. No, that would be tragic.
Yes.
So the good news is that, you know, in these 24 years that I've been here, it's never gone below 1,800. Okay. And so,
Jason, how long was that time frame that it was about 1,800? Was it like 3 months, 6 months? Was it a year? Or?
Well, it fluctuated a lot, man, between 2004 and 2008. So, I mean, you know, we saw a little bit of everything in those 4 years. But it never went below 1,800.
Okay.
So that's, you know, that's some security. When you take a look at that, at least it won't go below that. Yeah. So what I imagine happening, it may go down to maybe 3,000, 2,500 at the worst case scenario, you know. But still at 2,500, we're good.
Yes.
So, you know, up until 2021, though, you know, the whole time that I had been here in Colombia, everything that I was earning was in pesos. So for people that earned in pesos here, we didn't see too much of a difference at all from 2002, 2003 until 2021. I mean, for us, it didn't make too much of a difference unless you had a business that was, you know, highly dependent upon importing goods or services or whatever from the United States. It made a huge difference there.
Yeah.
But on the other hand, if we're exporting, then, you know, it could work out in your favor from Colombia's point of view. Right. But for right now, I think that for Colombian people is great. You know, because the dollar is decreasing.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, for Colombians, and I always say that's why as an expat, I never try to voice any kind of complaint in regards to the exchange rate. I do highlight it, and I do want to talk about the fact that perhaps it could affect tourism in some ways. But at the end of the day, we are in a country that we weren't born in. So if it benefits the people of Colombia, I'm okay with it. Is it ideal again for an expat or tourist? No, because obviously from our standpoint, we love the spending power with our dollar. But again, we're not in our home country. We are in a country as a visitor. And I wanted to be able to help the people of Colombia. Ultimately, if their economy can improve and by their currency strengthening, then I'm all for it. I don't want it to go down 1,800 pesos, though, Jason.
Yeah. I mean, I don't either, right? But when you take a look at tourism, though, and the reasons why people love coming to Colombia. Okay, the exchange rate is attractive, but I think more so than the economic advantage that you have is the quality of life.
Yes.
You know what I mean? The quality of life here in Colombia is 10 times better than it is in the United States. When you take a look at, you know, the amount that people have physical exercise here. Is twice as much. The quality of the food is better. We're dealing with all these chemicals in the food here, man.
Right.
You know?
Absolutely.
And beyond that, man, just the landscape of the country is it gives you a sense. For me, it's a sense of peace that you don't have in the United States.
It is, and you know, we talked about this before on other podcasts, Jason. The happiness, you know, Colombians are more concerned with happiness as opposed to money. We've heard,
Yes.
I've had several locals on the show now, and they verified that yes, the sports, politics, religion, all those things are important, but they want happiness and contentment, which is something that I think a lot of us Americans and Canadians strive for. We're
Mm.
striving to get that other job, making more money to hopefully, you're trying to inch closer to that happiness, and then you start realizing that it's what a moving target, you know. Whereas in
Right.
Colombia, it's almost like it's the environment where everybody else is happy and dancing and relaxing, and it sort of wears on you over time.
Yeah. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
So, do you believe, in your opinion, do you believe that this is just more or less just a time period where it's fluctuating, maybe with the exchange rates fluctuating, maybe because of the election that just happened, and now you think things will settle down, or do you think there still will be some volatility in the U.S. dollar?
I think the election had a lot to do with it, man, because
Hmm.
before that, we really didn't see too much fluctuation, but now things are different. I think things will level off, man. The further we get along with the new administration and everything, I think so.
Yes, I agree. Yeah, so to the viewers that are listening and watching, I don't believe that it's going to impact tourism significantly. Will there be some people that will look at the exchange rate and say, "Oh no, I'll go maybe next year. I'll visit Colombia maybe next year or the year after when the exchange rate is better." Yes, there's going to be some people that make that decision, but overall, the people that love Colombia and the landscape, as Jason, as you indicated, the people, the culture,
Mm.
this weakening of the U.S. dollar is not going to uh, affect their decision to travel to Cali or to travel to
No,
Colombia. Period.
I don't think so. I don't think so.
Yep.
And there hasn't been that much decrease. I mean,
Right.
maybe like a month or two ago, it was 3,500, and now we're at
Hmm.
3,300. So I mean, it's not that much change in the strength of the peso. Not
Exactly.
much.
That's 100% right. Yeah, I think if you, it's all relative. You look in 12 months ago, I think it was around 3,800 pesos to the dollar around this time last year. So obviously it
Right.
was better last year, but as you indicated, as we got closer to the election, the peso strengthened.
Yeah.
And again, good for the Colombian people and their ability to be able to have more purchasing power. Good for them.
Absolutely. Yep.
So, Jason, there's a lot happening. You have a lot going on right now. You're doing a lot. You're the busiest person in the podcast business. Um, I know you've already launched Spirit Link, and you're working heavily on making that available to the world, to the U.S., to Colombia, to the world, and
Yeah.
getting everything established with just having a wonderful organization that helps people overcome loneliness and brings people together. It's almost what I would consider it is like a perfect scenario for bridging the gap in relationships. Because as we talked about on two episodes ago, there is definitely an epidemic of loneliness, and so people aren't communicating the way they should. And your
No.
Spirit Link organization uh, basically has it's a great conduit to get people together that
Yeah.
people that normally may not have had the opportunity to meet each other. That you have that bridge to be able to connect people. Tell us more about Spirit Link and what you're doing.
You know what, man? I'm going to go all the way back to 2004 because at that time I had left Colombia
Hmm.
and went back home to Atlanta for about 4 months. And prior to that, my ex-wife had breast cancer, And so, she had to take off from work. She wasn't working at the time. Neither was I. I couldn't find a job during that time. We were actually going to all these doctor's appointments, the chemotherapy, and all of that stuff, man. And so I decided to go back home to Atlanta, get a job, and send money back to Colombia for my ex-wife. And so while I'm in Atlanta, I reconnected with a good friend of mine who was a pastor. And, the first thing he said was, when he saw me, he said, okay, why did God bring you back to Atlanta? I thought you were good in Colombia. It was going to be, all roses and, and everything there. Why have you returned? And I said, brother, I need faith. After going through everything that my ex-wife and I went through with the cancer and everything, I mean, my faith had just gone down to nothing. And so he said, okay, I have the solution. Let's do a study on faith. I said, okay. And so he said, we're going to take a look at the story of Abraham. And so once you have that, you'll know exactly what Abraham did in order to be connected to God's promises. I said, okay, but that makes perfect sense. So during this study, man, after maybe like 3-4 weeks, we're into this study. And at the end, he says, okay, Jason, I want you to ask God what your purpose is. I said, okay. And so I prayed to the Lord. I went home that same day, prayed to the Lord, and asked God that question. And that same afternoon, he gives me this dream. In the dream, I'm in a building, which was actually the location of SpiritLink in the future. And so, I see that, people are working out in weight-assisted machines, just like you see at LA Fitness or any place else, which is where I was working at the time in Atlanta. And so I had this supernatural dream, and, it was foretelling because the whole basis of SpiritLink is to bring a solution to the loneliness epidemic. Which wasn't happening all the way back in 2004. That wasn't happening. Right. See, and actually the whole problem that's being caused by social media and people glued to their phones, that didn't exist either. So God told me what the solution was all the way back in 2004, that all this stuff was going to take place, and now He put me in a position where we've launched SpiritLink, or the idea of it. We've got a website and everything. But in 2004, also, I told another pastor about the dream that I had. And his wife was like, okay, is it going to have a church? And I said, yeah. At the time in 2004, my biggest fear was still public speaking. I didn't want to speak in front of nobody. Maybe my family and friends, or my students that I was teaching here in Bogota, but I mean, in front of a crowd, forget it. So I still had that fear, and so I wasn't thinking that I was going to be the pastor of this church. I was going to hire somebody or get a pastor to come in and pastor the flock at SpiritLink, but I wasn't thinking I was going to do the job. And so it wasn't until, brother, 2 weeks ago. No, actually, let me go back a little bit further. It wasn't until a month ago, this year, brother named Kirk Clayton came to me, sent me a DM on LinkedIn. Now, I had talked to Kirk maybe like a couple of years ago. It had been that long since we had in contact. He said that he was interested in starting a Bible study, and I said, well, last year I just did a Bible study. And, I was thinking about restarting it this year, but I wasn't exactly sure of when I was going to do this. And so we had that conversation on LinkedIn, and we met face to face as well by video on Zoom. And that same day, brother, God was like, Jason, restart that Bible study next week. I said, okay. And so, it was just, on Tuesday evening, it was Connection to the Promise Bible Study. And so we started it. And then like 2 weeks later, man, another brother comes to me, Swish. He was like, we have a Bible study that's Monday through Friday. But you know what, Jason, man, I need more reinforcement. I leave those Bible studies and I don't feel strengthened enough in my faith to encounter these situations that I'm having to encounter on a daily basis.
Mm-hmm.
And I said, well, he said, well, how would you feel about doing another Bible study? I said, well, let's do it. And so now, man, we have Bible studies Monday through Friday, every single day.
Wow.
Yeah, Monday through Friday, man, at 8:00 Colombia, 9:00 Eastern. Then on Tuesday night, 7:00 Colombia and 8:00 Eastern. So, I mean, every day we out here live streaming our Bible study. I mean, if you had asked me if a year or two ago I would be on live stream doing a Bible study, I would have said, there's no way. There's no way.
You just never know what God has in store and plan for you. And so I was able to participate, and I think about 2 weeks ago, in your Bible study on Tuesday night. And ladies and gentlemen, if you have the time, it's definitely worth your time. To be able to get with like-minded believers that can talk open, free, without judgment, be very vulnerable from a biblical perspective, you cannot go wrong. You cannot go wrong.
Yes.
I really enjoyed that Bible study, and I look forward to participating as I get time to participating in more of those Bible studies, because it's definitely important for it's like going to the gym. When you go to the gym, you get that pump, and you feel like you can go on. You release a little bit of stress and endorphins, and you feel like you're ready for the next day. That's what Bible study does for you.
Absolutely. And when it comes to, anxiety, depression, and all this pressure that people feel right now with their economic situation, it gives you perfect peace in the midst of all that, and you're still able to do what you need to do for the Lord and for taking care of your family and everything else. So for me, brother, I just, I don't see how people live on a day-to-day basis without the Lord's help. I don't know how they do this. Yes. Well, I know I can see how they're doing it. They're depressed, they're anxious, and suffering from all other kinds of mental health issues. But with the Lord, that's the solution to this, man.
It is. You're exactly right. And again, I would encourage everyone to take advantage of those Bible studies, because again, they really are strength for your soul, for your spirit, and just for your mind too. There's a lot of things that happen as we talked about at the beginning of this episode, with the earthquakes and people getting unalive on a daily basis and other bad news. I mean, I was reading the other day, a young lady went into a pond in Florida, and alligator bit her. Alligator did the death roll, and they tried to save her, but she died in the ambulance. And you hear about all of these bad things, Jason, and it's like sometimes you get overwhelmed, and sometimes it's good to turn off the social media news or your TV and get into something where you can get a perspective on everything, because things can't happen. Bad things happen, and we can't explain or have a rationale why. And that's why we got to get in the Word to be able to help keep us on track, to be able to help give us perspective about these earthly things that happen.
Exactly. And you know what, man? Not this past weekend, but the weekend before last, God was like, okay, Jason, I want you to get the church started. I said, okay. And so, the name of it is Soul Sanctuary International. And the idea that came to me as a way to help children and women here in Colombia who have been trafficked and sold into prostitution. That was the idea of Soul Sanctuary in the beginning. And so I said, well, I don't need to look for another name. It's Soul Sanctuary International, you know. And so we have a ministry, and for the ministry itself, it's all online right now. So we're using the Bible studies that we have in order to teach people, encourage people, lead people to Christ, teach people how to pray. I remember when I became a Christian, man, I didn't know how to pray. I mean, you have to learn this.
Yeah.
So, you know, me being a teacher and having all of that teaching experience here in Colombia, now I'm able to actually do that, but with the Word of God, and teach people practical things that they can do when they have problems with, you know, spiritual attacks in their mind. And not only that, but in the dreams, man. See, I became a spiritual dream coach. And if you take a look at any person that's dealing with depression, anxiety, suicidal ideation, if you ask that person, can you remember their dreams? They'll tell you 9 times out of 10, no, I don't remember. And there's a reason for this. They're under spiritual attack or spiritual warfare in their dreams.
Wow.
And see, so not only do you not have peace in your waking life, you don't have peace in your sleep either. In dreams. I mean, you're constantly under torment.
Yeah.
And you know, I'm out here giving information on how people can get free from all of this in those Bible studies. So it's through the Word of God. We're giving people practical tools as well they can use in their everyday life in order to be free. And, you know, apart from that, we're giving testimonies from our own lives. Myself, I tell testimonies from my own life, and so does everybody else on the panel. Christine Bailey, Kurt Clayton, and Todd Swish. We're actually, there's 4 of us on these Bible studies every single morning. And, you know, it's a wonderful conversation. It's things that, you know, we're talking about that everybody can relate to. So, you know, it's a wonderful experience, I think.
And tell the viewers the days and times again for these Bible studies.
Sure. So the Monday through Friday daily Bible study through Circle of Friends Club, that's Monday through Friday at 8 o'clock Columbia and 9 o'clock Eastern in the morning. And it's an hour session. So, you know, plan to be there in an hour. And I understand people have to work. So, you know, in the event that you're at a job and you can't listen in, well, you can go back to LinkedIn, tune in there, or you can also tune in on YouTube. We have every broadcast that's recorded, and you can go for the replay on those 2 channels. Or if you have Facebook, you can also tune in there as well.
Excellent. And then the Soul Sanctuary International, can you tell the viewers how they can participate?
Yeah, absolutely. So we have pages right now on Facebook and also on LinkedIn. I'm going to start one on Instagram today because now we have a couple of influencers. We're actually NFL players. Now they're retired. So Mike Hollis is one, and Marcus Ogden, good friends of mine. They're actually going to be featured on all of our platforms. We featured Mike the other day, and Marcus Ogden will be featured today. And so what we want to do with this, because, you know, our heroes, people that we consider heroes in entrepreneurship, in athletics, and also in the entertainment industry, you know, we always look up to these people, and a lot of them don't believe in God, man. I mean, God ain't nowhere acknowledging anything that they do. Right. And so what we want to do is feature the ones who have taken upon themselves to dedicate everything that they do to the Lord. And we want them to give their testimonies, and we're featuring them in our community. So, excellent. Yeah, for any athlete, entrepreneur, entertainer that's watching this broadcast, and you believe in the Lord, He's first in your life, we would love to have you come share your story with our community and be featured in our church online. It's online right now. One day, very soon, we're going to have a location for the church. I'm expecting God to do some amazing things through this ministry. And so that's where we are right now.
Excellent. And, hats off to you for being obedient and just going out and doing it. Because there's a lot of people that procrastinate or would have just said, okay, that's something that I'm not capable of doing. And, fewer called, even fewer are chosen, and then even fewer will actually do it. So, hats off to you for doing this. That's what the world needs. The world needs less social media and reality TV, and more getting in touch with the Word and Bible study.
Amen.
And talking to people.
Amen.
Your faith might seem a little low, or as they say, lukewarm, and we've all been there. But if the key to lukewarm, to the solution to lukewarm, is to get around people that are hot, people that are red hot, and that's how if you stay around people that are red hot, at some point your lukewarm becomes warmer, hot, very hot, and that's what you have to do. So again, I can't stress enough, ladies and gentlemen, take advantage of these Bible studies, take advantage of these opportunities to increase your faith. Now, there's a lot going on in Colombia. Again, we have the World Cup. We also have next month the Petronio Álvarez Festival, which is a huge Afro-Colombian festival in Cali, Colombia. It's going to be the 30th annual Petronio Álvarez Festival. Ladies and gentlemen, if you love culture, if you love music, if you love great food, you definitely you would have a great time at this festival.
Sure.
There's estimated to be like 1 million people this year, and a lot of international people that are going to be attending. There's usually always people from other countries, but for this particular year, the 30th annual Petronio Álvarez Festival, there's going to be a lot of people, representatives from the U.S., from Canada, from Europe, from countries in Africa. So you're going to have this blend of culture that people are going to be recognizing and representing, and it's just going to be an excellent event. So if you've never been and you have the opportunity to get off work or make a vacation, or if you're a retiree, recent retiree, this is a great opportunity for you to experience. It only happens once a year, and you should definitely take advantage of it. Now, in addition to that, if you believe in healthcare, which is what you should believe in, if you believe in preventative healthcare to get your health screens done on an annual basis, whether that be MRI or EKG or your nutritional screening and panel, if you believe in that, which you should, because that's a vital part of your survival, then there is a cultural and wellness package that allows you to be able to go to the Petronio Álvarez event festival and get all your health care screens done within one day at a GCI accredited hospital in Cali, Colombia, and you can get the results in the same day. So you don't have to wait, 2-3 days, even a week to get your results. You can get the results the same day. So if you are interested, we had an episode just last week where we had Pilar Diaz on the show. She is the health traveler consultant and owns a consultant agency that will allow you to be able to participate and sign up for this wellness package. So by all means, ladies and gentlemen, keep health and wellness your priority. We want to see everybody live a long time. God designed us so we would eventually leave this earth, but not too soon. And to make sure that you're okay from a health standpoint, you have to get the tests and the screens to make sure that you're all right. So save money and participate in this cultural package as well, or in this cultural event as well. Anything to add to that,
Yes.
Jason?
Yeah. I'm going to say the following is that, I spent 6 months in Cali, fell in love with the city too. And to be honest with you, man, like you, I didn't want to leave Cali. I mean, I love the experience that I had there. So, to go there and actually be part of something that's cultural, like the Petronio Álvarez Festival, I mean, I can't even imagine how that is. I've never experienced it, but it's going to be absolutely amazing. And as Black people, we don't think that anywhere in Cali is majority Black. But if you go to Cali, you're going to see that it's like 80, 90% Black. And
right.
during the festival, it's even more so. So, take in the culture, to take in the food, the music, and all the traditional things that you're going to be exposed to during that festival. It's going to be amazing. So
absolutely.
And then you add the added value of getting your health checkup during that same week. How can you beat that?
Absolutely. 100% agree. So again, ladies and gentlemen, if you are interested and want to know more information, you can reach out to myself. You can reach out to Jason. You can that's start out with reaching out to us, and we can get you a hold of and in contact with Pilar Diaz, so you can learn more about it. You can get a free consultation, and obviously, if you're interested in signing up, she will be more than happy to help you sign up, as well as take advantage of an early bird discount, which is going effective right now. So keep that on your radar. Now, Jason, I have something significant going on. I have a couple of significant things going on. And one thing is, I believe in financial literacy. I want to help people with their financial literacy and their empowerment. I wrote a book all the way back in 2008, based on the philosophy that I came up with, that I call the EI philosophy, or economic intelligent philosophy. And basically, the book is basic financial literacy, the things that we grew up learning to do. For example, if you don't have the money, don't go out and spend it. Make wise investments. Don't try to keep up with the Joneses. Things that you might already know and you've heard of, but you might not apply in your daily life. And so the book has done. Oh, and by the way, this is a self-published book, by the way. I had an opportunity to publish with the major company, and they wanted to go in a different direction that I wasn't comfortable with. And so I decided to self-publish the book. But it helped a lot of Americans, thousands of Americans. I went on a book tour in 2009 and was able to really help a lot of Americans. Because, ladies and gentlemen, you probably remember 2008 was when the market crashed, when we had the real estate bubble. And it was just, the economy was terrible. And that's when I decided to release that book at a time where people needed it the most. Well, I'm seeing a need now in Colombia, Jason, where there's a lot of people struggling financially. There's a lot of unemployment. There's a lot of inflation. And so I want to take this opportunity to be able to republish my book in Colombia. My question to you, Jason, is, just like America, it seems like people are struggling to find jobs, to just make ends meet.
Yeah.
How much stress can that put on the family and whoever the breadwinner of the family is? How much stress? Because we've been here before. How much stress can that put on a family or a person trying to make ends meet and take care of their family?
You can go all the way back to the Great Depression. What kind of effect did that have on people? Mm-hmm. People were committing suicide left and right.
Right.
for that ability to be taken away of taking care of your family. And the tremendous amount of fear that comes along with that. Day to day, you wake up and you're like, how am I going to make it? So Colombians face this day in and day out on a regular basis, and you don't see them though committing suicide behind that. You don't see that.
That's right.
They find a way in the midst of that to do what needs to be done. And so that kind of resilience, I think I've learned a tremendous amount of resilience living in this culture here in Colombia. I mean, it's extremely stressful to the point where you could be driven to the point where you want to kill yourself. But Colombians are resilient people, man.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah.
And, to that end, that's one of the reasons why I'm passionate about financial literacy, and I want to republish the book. And not only for the locals, but Jason, this is something that I was talking with a friend just the other day. There's a lot of expats that get to Colombia, and then they look at the exchange rate, and they're like, well, I can spend as much money as I want to. And then a year later, they have nothing, and they're like wondering, should they go back to America and start all over or stay in Colombia? Yeah. And so That's one of the aspects that I want to cover too is, yes, the dollar you might be able to stretch the dollar out more in Colombia or a South American country in general, but you still have to be on the budget. You still have to manage. Can you real quick tell us, in the 24 years you've been there, how you've had to do that? You've had to be very financially literate. You've had to be on the budget. You've had to make wise financial decisions.
Listen, I'm going to tell you that first month that I was here in Colombia, I had just arrived. My ex-wife at the time, she was like, Jason, you have to completely change your mindset with the way that you spend money here. I mean, you can't spend money here in Colombia like you do at home. I mean, it just doesn't work that way. And you need to make some changes in the way that, you think when you go grocery shopping. You don't spend 500,000 pesos, 1,000,000 pesos at the grocery store.
Right.
I had to change my mindset like that. And, that helped me tremendously thinking about spending here in Colombia. And you may look at your bank account when you get here to Colombia. You get, let's say you have $3,000 spending money for the week, right? And everything is in pesos, so it's a third of what you would pay in the States, thinking that, I'm rich here.
Yeah,
I can spend money like water. It's not like that. It adds up.
It adds
really,
up
really quick. Yeah,
absolutely. And that's definitely one of the things that I want to cover in my republished book is, yes, expats and tourists need to be on a budget in Colombia and other South American countries as well. It's for longevity. Ladies and gentlemen, if you want to have the longevity in a country like Colombia, like Jason has, to be able to be there for 24 years and still going, you will have to change your spending habits. You will have to be EI, which is known as economically intelligent. You will have to be EI. You will have to be financially responsible. Otherwise, that might end up being just a long, short vacation for you. Short, long vacation for you.
Yeah, absolutely.
So there's a couple of other things I want to talk about, and that is, Jason, I'm also passionate with the martial arts as well. And I always say, which is really a big part of what you're doing, and that is your Spirit Link is based on fitness. And with fitness and martial arts, they're like almost here. They're almost one and of the same. It is so important to be able to defend yourself if something happened. I always emphasize, Jason, the importance of de-escalation. But it is very important to be able to defend yourself. Can you just explain to the viewers that, yes, Colombia is safe overall if you know where to go, know what to do.
Sure.
But there have been instances, and I hope I don't think I've ever asked you this question. If you've had any
Uh-huh.
incident in Colombia in regards to like attempted robbery or something like that. But can you just stress the fact where fitness and martial arts and self defense is so important, really anywhere, but in Colombia too?
Oh man, yeah. I did have one instance where I was robbed, man. But I was
Mm,
attacked from behind,
mm,
and so I didn't have an opportunity to actually see this person
right,
or to defend myself at all. I mean,
right,
I didn't have a chance.
right.
But getting to what people are being exposed to now, these passport brothers that come here to Colombia thinking that they're supermen. I mean, I don't know what the mindset is, but they go to Medellin and Cartagena, another place, Bogota too, man, thinking that well, I can outsmart these women
Hmm.
and take them back to my place,
Hmm.
have some fun, and
Hmm.
post about it later on social media. Listen, number one, you're not just dealing with that woman. She's probably connected to it more times, often than not. There,
Hmm.
she's connected to some kind of crime ring, man.
Right.
So it's not just her. And let's say that you do have an altercation. Well, I mean, what are you going to do? You've been drinking all night. Your balance is off.
That's right.
Your spatial awareness is off. What are
Hmm.
you going to do?
You're probably going to get robbed, like it's been happening. The sad
Yeah.
thing too, Jason, is now I'm seeing a lot of YouTube. Matter of fact, I'm not going to mention his name. There's a very popular YouTube uh, uh, personality that he goes to different cities in Colombia and South America, and he tells you, "Hey, this is what you should invest in. This would be a good investment in this city." Very popular. That I never would have thought something would have happened to this young man.
Hmm.
And I
Yeah.
just saw Jason about 2 weeks ago. He was out with some friends in Medellin, and they were, I guess, had an alcoholic beverage. Long story short is he felt woozy and dizzy, and they beat him up and took his money, his card, his phone. Got about $40,000, as I understand, out of his account. But he was messed up. He was in the hospital. He was really really messed up. I mean, black
Wow.
eye, abrasion on his head. He was really messed up, and so it is very important. We're running out of time, so we'll have to talk about this one more. But I do want to emphasize, guys, if you're a passport bro, it is very important that you be very careful of the situations you're in, because not only are they drugging you and taking your belongings, now they're beating you up to a point where you might be in a hospital or in a coma. So
Yeah.
it is very important, and you said it, Jason, if you are incoherent, if you're getting yourself blackout drunk, it doesn't matter how much martial arts or boxing you're not going to be able to defend yourself. So
No.
don't put yourself in
And
that
so
situation.
yeah, I mean, it's even worth it.
Exactly.
And so it's not worth it to lose your life. No, it's not worth it. And
Worth it.
so at Spirit Link, brother, we're really really proud to present our partnership with Bonde Map. And
Yes.
so we brought on Talia Ashley earlier. She actually made a couple of more comments as well.
Mm-hmm.
She said, "This is a beautiful testimony of God's work through chosen vessels." Amen. Yes, yes.
Absolutely.
And Jeremy, I'm so proud to call myself a friend of his and a brother as well. You
Absolutely.
know, he's invited me onto his platform, which he doesn't need to do. I mean, he does that on a regular basis, and I love my brother in Christ.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
And
And likewise.
yeah, and Tally also said daily Bible studies builds discipline in God's word. And yes, anytime is the time to give our lives to God. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
Absolutely.
And so, I'm going to talk about Spirit Link for just a moment. And so Spirit Link, we're proud to present our partnership with Bondi Map, which is Talia's company. And we're coming together in an effort to bring an end to this loneliness epidemic that we're facing all over the world. Together, we're introducing a new generation of faith-centered relationships where purpose, compatibility, and relational intelligence matter just as much as attraction. Spirit Link helps people meet and connect in faith. Bondi Map helps them discover who they are, how they relate, and whether they're truly aligned to build healthy, lasting relationships. We believe the strongest relationships aren't built by chance. They're built through relational intelligence. And that is understanding yourself well enough to build a meaningful life with somebody else. You have to know who you are first as an individual in order to have a successful relationship with somebody else. And Spirit Link helps people meet and connect. Bondi Map helps them build what lasts. So if you see here on this graphic, to my left on screen, you can see that we've come together. And so you're going to sign. What's going to happen is you come to spiritlink.com. You have your interview, which is a pre-screening process that we have. And then you sign up for your membership. And once you do that, you have access to our Bondi Map platform, where you have your profile. And your profile is going to include a 30 to 60 second video of an introduction that you've made to the community. So everybody can go to your profile, they'll see your video profile. And I don't know any other dating app platform that has a video introduction. It doesn't exist. And so that's another safety feature that we have in place in our Spirit Link community as well. You'll be able to see everybody's introduction so you don't waste time. You can see this person face to face on screen, and you can decide from there whether or not you want to pursue a relationship with this person. And also, with the use of Bondi Map and the platform there, you're going to see the actual qualities that people have been ranked as having when it comes to every area of life and how they relate to people in those areas. So, I mean, this is something groundbreaking. It's innovative. And I know it's going to help us help people to have successful relationships, not just in the dating industry or world, but in every area of your life. And so we're excited about this. I cannot wait until we can launch this, which will actually be within 2-3 weeks.
Wow.
So we're excited.
Wow, absolutely amazing. I know a lot of hard work has been put into this, a lot of prayer and a lot of thought, a lot of late nights, and kudos and congratulations on this. You said something very important, Jason. Everybody keeps talking about emotional intelligence, right? You hear that almost on every platform, right? But then they forget, first you got to be okay with yourself. Before you can get that partner, get that relational intelligence, you have to be okay with yourself. And so this is absolutely amazing. There's not any platforms that I know of that are telling people how to grow and how to find somebody, which is relational intelligence. I hate to pick on it, but the Pop the Balloon show is very popular on TikTok and Instagram. And I always think that show is a lot of satire and comedy, because it's not helping people come together. It's a good laugh if you're watching it because it's entertaining. But I think with the epidemic of loneliness, Jason, Spirit Link is absolutely imperative. And it couldn't have came at a better time. You couldn't have launched this at a better time.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely, man. And, along with, people learning how to deal with themselves. I mean, I don't think there's anybody right now that exists with any trauma. I mean, everybody has some kind of trauma
Correct.
from childhood, something that happened to us when we were a kid, whether it be bullying, whether it be something that happened between us and our parents, or
Mm-hmm.
some family member, or some neighbor,
Mm-hmm.
or just some stranger in our neighborhood that did something to us. And that stuff, man, we take and bury someplace in our subconscious, right?
Mm-hmm.
We don't even realize that this stuff still affects us in our adult life.
Mm-hmm.
So listen, you come to Spirit Link, we're going to help you deal with all of that. We have coaches as well in our community that can help you, develop yourself in other areas as well, not just, for love's sake, but for your friendship's sake, for your family's sake,
Mm-hmm.
and your business as well. If you have a business, how are you relating to your employees?
Right.
How are you relating to your staff? I mean, we go far beyond dating now. I mean, it's all inclusive. So,
And that's what we need. We're going over time, but I think this is important. When you're talking about relationships, you're right. It's all inclusive. I was a manager for a long time, a higher level manager with a very big engineering firm, and for the government. And you have to be able to relate to people. That's why you
yeah.
need the relational intelligence. So, ladies and gentlemen, my final words on this topic are stop looking at Pop the Balloon Show, get off eHarmony, get off Match, get off what's the other one? Farmers.com. Get off all of that. Get on Spirit Link. Just wipe the slate clean with everything you've done because it hasn't been working because we know the statistics. Get on Spirit Link and join and really apply yourself, and it will change your life.
Absolutely.
Anything to
Thank you
add,
so much,
Jason?
Jeremy, for
Final
that.
words, final commentary.
Yeah, I just want to thank you, man, for inviting me to the show again to share, everything I had to say today when it came to Spirit Link and everything else that we're doing. Man, I value you. I value your platform so much, man. You're a blessing to people, not just in the United States, but here in Colombia and every place else, man. God bless you for what you're doing. And, you ain't got to do this, man. You got a full-time job. but you have the heart to do this.
It's
And,
important.
God blesses that, man. So I just want to thank you again for everything that you do.
Absolutely. Likewise. And Talia, really appreciate all the comments, the feedback. Can't wait to meet you. You and Jason are working on something amazing. And any way I've already told Jason, Jason already knows this, but any way I can help, I will as well, because this is very important. So, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to wrap up this episode. This was a longer episode, but it was a phenomenal show.
Yeah.
And this is information that's just priceless. That sometimes we want to we want to give you we want to give you everything. We want to give you if you're going to take an hour of your day, we're going to give you a little bit more. So this was a bonus round today, ladies and gentlemen. And um, obviously, like I always say, I want you to embrace the culture. I want you to love the culture. I want you to understand the culture. Cali is Cali, Colombia is Colombia. Vamos Colombia, and continue on the run in the World Cup, and let's get it done. Finish strong. So with that being
Yes.
said, I will did want to remind you, if you want to give a donation, it does take money, it does take time and a lot of effort to be able to continue this platform and get it. So we're giving you good quality, and we're getting you the best production possible. So if you want to donate, you're more than welcome. You could donate by Venmo, Cash App, Zelle. So you have opportunity too. Any small donation will help tremendously. Thank you. With that being said, again, ladies and gentlemen, happy 4th of July. If I haven't already said it, it's a 250 anniversary for the United States. So let's recognize that. Have a great day. Be safe. God bless everyone. See you next time. Thank you for watching the Cali Culture Podcast with Jeremy Preston. Please remember to like, comment, and subscribe, and I will see you next week for our next episode.